Get a wrap of the international news now. Simon Piercy is standing by with Around the World in 5.
Good evening from the Channel's newsroom here in London. Demonstrations turned violent in Hong Kong as tens of thousands of people turned out to protest against a proposed extradition bill. Police fired rubber bullets and tear gas at the crowds who'd blocked key roads around government buildings. Another day of protests, another day of violence. Demonstrators attacked the legislative building, doing their best to force their way in. They say they will remain on the streets until the government scraps the highly controversial extradition bill.
At the end of the umbrella movement, didn't we have this slogan saying that we will be back? We are back!
Police firing rubber bullets. The first time they've been used in the territory for decades. These are the largest rallies Hong Kong has seen since it was handed back to China by the British in 1997. Due to the violence, the second reading of the bill has been delayed. A bill which would allow the territory to extradite people to mainland China. Hong Kong's chief executive isn't backing down, but says she fears for those in the protests.
At this moment, I'm worrying and also feeling sad. Why I'm worrying is because I see too many youngsters have taken this action. Hong Kong has always advocated a place of civilized peace and rationality.
Dozens of people have been injured, none of them critically. The concern is that things are escalating fast. With neither side budging, protests and bouts of violence are likely to continue. The main question, to what lengths will people here go? Uganda has confirmed its first case of Ebola, triggering new fears about the spread of the disease. A 5-year-old boy who'd travelled to the country from the Democratic Republic of Congo died soon after being diagnosed. 2 other family members were also infected and are being treated in isolation at a hospital. Officials are also reaching out to those who've been in contact with them.
The Ministry of Health, the World Organization and the Center for Disease Control have dispatched a rapid response team to Kasese to support the teams who are on the ground to continue with the various activities, including contact tracing and case management.
3 American companies are facing a lawsuit over the Grenfell Tower disaster in London. 72 people were killed and almost 180 injured when an inferno ripped through the residential building in 2017. 143 counts of wrongful death and products liability have been filed against Arconic, Celotex, and it's believed the fire started in a Whirlpool fridge freezer.
That fire spread to the exterior of the building, and that is when it truly became uncontrollable. Once the fire reached the insulation that was manufactured by Celotex and the cladding that was manufactured by Arconic, it raced uncontrollably throughout the building due to their flammable nature.
We've been asked by the victims to hold these corporations accountable, to make sure that they cannot hide behind international borders, but be held accountable for their conduct.
More than 200 people have been detained by police in Russia. Demonstrators are demanding that officers who were involved in the arrest of a journalist be punished. Police suddenly dropped drugs charges against Ivan Golunov as anger grew over his detention. Supporters say he was framed because of his investigative reporting. On his release, he vowed to continue his work. More images are emerging from southern China, where heavy rain continues to wreak havoc. Floods have forced many residents to evacuate their homes. In the east, the river that runs through Sanming City is 3.5 meters higher than its maximum warning level. The downpour is expected to continue until Friday. And hundreds of thousands of people have been evacuated from India's western state of Gujarat ahead of Cyclone Vayu. Expected to make landfall on Thursday, the weather system is growing in intensity with sustained wind speeds of 145 kilometers per hour, and they could gust up to 170 kilometers per hour. Shinzo Abe is Japan's first prime minister to visit Iran since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. He touched down in Tehran, where he's on an apparent mission to ease tensions between Iran and the US. Iran hopes he'll be able to mediate between the two and help curb oil sanctions imposed by Washington. And finally, a gesture of goodwill between North and South Korea. Kim Jong-un's sister met officials in the demilitarized zone to pay her respects to Lee Hee-ho, the widow of the former South Korean President Kim Dae-jung. She delivered flowers and her brother's condolences over the death of the former First Lady, who passed away on Monday. And that's your international news around the world in 5.
Super Falcons have recorded their first win of the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup with a 2-0 win over South Korea. Nigeria went ahead when defender Kim Do-yeon volleyed past her own keeper on the 29th minute of the first half. Barcelona forward Ashishat Oshoala held off a defender before rounding the keeper to score Nigeria's second goal in the 75th minute, and the Falcons held on for all 3 points. Nigeria will face host nation France in their final Group A game next Monday. So we leave it on sports news. Back to you, Melinda.
Thank you, Olumide. And the main news again. For the first time, Nigeria today marked Democracy Day on June 12th in commemoration of the annual presidential election on that date in 1993. And that's the news at 10 tonight. On behalf of the team, good night.